Hey everyone, this is Megan, part of the Beaver Tales book club. I am going to review the 7 books that I read in February. It's not many as I wanted to do, but I just wanted to give my opinions on how I felt about them and so on and so forth, and kind of just like a brief synopsis of each one. And I'll try not to do spoilers as much as I can. The Summer Children by Dot Hutchinson. I enjoyed this book. It was kind of a run-of-the-mill crime thriller. It wasn't as grotesque or like disturbing as The Butterfly Garden and The Roses of May, but it was still really good. The characters were great. It was a good read, fast read. It's not big at all, and I definitely would recommend it. If you're not into blood, gore, killing, anything like that, then I wouldn't recommend it. But this was a really good book if you like thrillers, and there's one more after this that I'm going to read next month. The Hemlock Queen by Hannah Whitten. So I read the first one, which was The Foxglove King. That one was a bargain buy. I really did enjoy it. This was very slow in the beginning. Although I did enjoy it, it was very political in the beginning. It took me a while to get into it. I think it took me about a week to read this, which normally I finish books in like 3 days. This just did not hold my attention in the beginning, but once it got to halfway through to like 3/4 of the way through, it got so good. I like the plot that she did about like gods taking over, people being vessels for gods. It was intriguing. It was kind of new. I think I've only read one other series similar to that before. So this was really interesting. It was fun. I love the characters, and I have never rooted for a love triangle more other than the original Twilight Bella Jacob Edward triangle. The triangle between Lore, Gabe, and Bastion, I've never tried for anything harder. It's so romantic to read like how she feels differently about each one, and like she says multiple times like, do I have to choose both? And I just find that appealing, and I really hope that they don't make her choose and like it kind of just continues as like a triangle deal, because they're just all so like, the 3 of them are just so good together. Like Malcolm and Allie and all these other characters that we didn't think would come back or kind of make a difference, like they do. And I just think it's really great that we have this good selection of characters and not just the 3. And we have a good selection of characters that matter and mean something and give something to the storyline. I'm really excited to read the next one, which is the Nightshade King. That comes out in July. I'm really excited to read that one, and I hope there's more. If that's the conclusion, that would be great too, but this is a really good series to read. Famine by Laura Thalassa. Hopefully I got that right. I love this book. 5 out of 5 in my opinion. This was my favorite one in the Horseman series. I know there's only one left, but I thought the story was great. There weren't any crazy tropes, like the pregnancy trope and stuff like that. It wasn't anything like that. And Famine, the horseman in this book, he reminded me a lot of Rhysand. He was so like witty and charming, but had like these emotions deep down. And the female main character is a complete badass. I love her. And they just make such a good couple. And the great thing about this book was that the other 2 kind of just ended. They were like, like the story for Pestilence and War, they ended and they got their happily ever after per se. But this one directly leads into the last one. So it's like there wasn't a typical ending. It was just like their story is going to continue and they're going to be in the next book. And hopefully the other characters will as well, because that's what it was leading to. So I hope that that's the case, because I love these characters so much. Like Famine, I think, is my favorite one, and I could be proved wrong for the next one, but I really love this book. It was a lot of fun, and I've read it so fast I ate it up. Bewitched, again, by Laura Thalassa. This one was a really good one. Wasn't a 5 out of 5 in my opinion, just because I feel like the next one will be better. This was setting the stage for the next, I think, 2 books. There's one out, Bespelled is the next one, and I think that there was just the 3rd one released or something like that, but this one was really good. I haven't read a book, I think, about like witches and kind of like a supernatural witchy vibe. So this is refreshing to read. It was about witches and kind of star-crossed lovers vibes, big angry ancient man type fantasy deal, which is very normal with the books we read now. So, but I liked it. It was interesting. It kept my attention. It was not fantasy. It was more modern supernatural. So it wasn't like so much lore dump. It was very easy to read. And I'm excited for the next one. I feel like it's gonna really deep dive into what this series is about. Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. This was a good one. My husband got me this for my birthday last April, so I just got around to reading it almost a year later. I heard a lot of great things about this. I always had seen these books at the store, and I thought the covers were gorgeous. I just never got around to reading it. I was told that it was young adult, just like Bewitched. I was told that it was completely young adult, and that was definitely wrong. Both accusations were wrong. This one was slow getting into. It was like a good chunk in the beginning was world building and plot building and character building, and it was just very slow, hard to get into, but when it got good, it got really, really good. I love this plot of like a demon host, almost like One Dark Window, like a demon host inside of the character's head that they're communicating with and that's taking over, and you don't know if they're on their own side, their own agenda, or if they're on your side. So I really like this. I love the main characters. Tasana, hope I'm not butchering that. Tasana and Max are a really great pair. They're very charismatic and fun. The downside too is that this goes in the reprint, so I can't order the second one because it was in my cart and now it's gone. So I can't order the second one to read it. I ordered the third one in hopes I can get the second one. So I'm hoping that I can continue this with the same set soon, because I really did enjoy this book. It was a lot of fun. So I know this says Wildfire, but I'm gonna put Daydream over it, so this is gonna look a little weird. I loaned out my Daydream copy to my friend to read because I really enjoyed it. It was a 5 out of 5. Daydream by Hannah Grace, the same series as Icebreaker. Wildfire I didn't really enjoy, and I did hear mixed reviews on Daydream. I heard it was not good at all and that it was slow, and I pushed it on my list of what to read, but I brought it back up because I was like, I need a break from fantasy. I want to go back to this for a minute, and I was pleasantly surprised. I heard it was awful, but I loved it. I thought it was very sweet and romantic, and Henry is just such a great male character. I love the main female character. She is the older daughter. She's got everything on her shoulders. She's, helping everyone out. She's a people pleaser. I so resonated with that I felt like this book was about me, and I couldn't put it down. It was so cute. Even though it was such a slow burn, which sometimes I hate, it was worth it because the connection that these two characters had together was like, it wasn't rushed. There was no miscommunication trope where like they think they're dating someone else and like all that miscommunication bullshit. Like there was none of that because they were so open with each other and so honest and told each other what they wanted. And it was so refreshing to get a book that was like not drama filled per se. Like it was just so sweet and so wholesome, and I would read it again and again, and I would recommend it again and again. Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. So as you can see, I'm not done with it. It's the last of February, but I've already read this once before. I'm reading it again for the other book club that I'm in. But this is my favorite book of the Throne of Glass series, to be honest. The other books are so fun and they keep you engaged, but it's the same thing one after another. That sometimes it gets a little stale, sometimes it gets repetitive, and sometimes you're like, oh my god, like, can something else happen? This was such a shift. It was a location shift, character shift, plot shift. Even though it was still directly related to the other books, it took such a shift that I was like, okay, this is what I needed. I needed a palate cleanser after all the other books. And I'm a sucker for a healing journey book. That's why Silver Flames and from Sarah J. Maas is my favorite one out of that series, because it's Nesta's journey of, changing and realizing who she is and becoming a better person and healing. And this is very similar, like Kale's journey. Nobody liked him in Queen of Shadows. He's kind of a dick. So, you know, and then he got hurt. So this is his journey of healing his heart, healing his body, while also contributing to the war still because he feels like he's worthless. And then meeting someone that can just help him 24/7 of being a better person and realizing you don't have to be who you were brought up to be. You can be who you want to be. So I love this book. I'm not done with it yet, only because it took me so long for the other books, but and I've been skimming this one a little because I already read it recently. I read it in the last year. But I see a lot of people skipping this one. I see on TikTok a lot of people are like, oh, you could skip that one. You could just read like a Wikipedia synopsis. And that is totally not true. Please do not skip this one. This is so important. A lot of the plot and a lot of the Easter eggs that she puts in here are so important to the main storyline. You cannot skip this one. So those are my 7 reads of February. I know it's not a lot compared to the, I think, 10 or 11 I did in January. Nick and I are going to be reading some books together to the start of the book club next month in one day in March. So stay tuned for those. Check back for our reviews on those. I'll be reading Watermoon because he already read that. He's going to be reading The Hurricane Wars because I read that already. And then we're going to be reading The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I believe. We're going to be reading that together. So yeah, we're really excited to keep this going. And comment if you have any suggestions. You agree or disagree with how I felt with books, your opinions. I'd love to hear what you guys would have to say about these books that I recommended. And just share the books that you love because reading is so fun and we shouldn't damper people that read. It's good for the mind, good for the heart, and even though it kills trees, reading is still fun. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you guys next time. Bye!